Hello, my friends. For today's reading, we have the spider as your significator. So this would be representing where you are at the moment, whether you realize it or not. The spider is in the earth element. I think of it as being the air aspect of earth because of its tendency to spend its time suspended in a web in the air. So even though it is an earth creature, it does spend an awful lot of time up in the air, so to speak. It's interesting. All right, creator of prosperity through life's work, Dharma. Perhaps you are very focused on that right now. Trying to find your path. I once heard somebody say you should focus on being open to your path. It's always there. And I heard somebody else say, your path is just to be yourself. There's elements of truth to both. You do have to be yourself, your fundamental self, to find your path. And it is part of you. So being yourself is your path. It will not be foreign to you. The question is, do you know yourself? Okay. The spider is an ingenious creator. Its greatest gift is weaving the thread of Dharma into a vast, intricate web that supports the spider and those around it, both financially and spiritually. It is hard work, but the spider neither tires nor becomes impatient. This card reminds us creativity is everywhere. Be process-oriented rather than results-oriented, and soon your work becomes like the weaving of a magical, priceless tapestry. Abundance follows. I have found that I've been thinking things over. I've been thinking about taking simple, ordinary things and putting genuine effort into making them the best that they can be. And how does that change this simple, ordinary thing? It could turn it into a work of art. That's my conclusion. It would take time. It would take attention and mastery, but it's very possible that whatever it is that you do, that you love to do, could become, in some fashion, a work of art. All right, when in balance, appreciative, enthusiastic, prosperous. When out of balance, discouraged, tired, forlorn. To bring into balance, playful creativity. Don't forget playfulness. Very important. I think I was talking about Patch Adams just yesterday. So this seems to be a recurring theme right now. Now, looking at your tea leaf cards, which are here to help you determine whether or not this is your reading, they should not be a surprise to you. In some fashion, they should be familiar. Something you already know, have already seen or felt or heard. You do have 7 today, and your 7th card, perhaps the most important one, is fire. Strong emotion, passionate love or hate. So, how is that impacting your life right now? Now, my first thought when I was looking at this, at the first couple of cards, was that, oh, once again, we are going to have a focus on career. No, I'm wrong. I think I'm wrong. We have cobweb, protected from negative forces beyond your control, and inkpot, problems to be resolved. Then we have ant, work, achievement, success. So I did these 3 cards, and the card that came out next was the fire card, the strong emotion card. So that was when I started thinking, oh, this isn't about career. We have solid foundation, success with effort. And then fair woman, dealings or relationship with a woman with blonde, gray, or white hair. And grasshoppers, situations in the balance that require careful handling. Obviously, if you're having a lot of strong emotions about this person, perhaps, or this might be you, probably not you, but somebody that it's a delicate situation. It requires careful handling, and you may be feeling very, very strongly about this, love or hate. You're trying to build a solid foundation for success, perhaps in finding your Dharma, finding a fulfilling life path, in some fashion. On the positive side, of course, you are protected from negative forces beyond your control. This does not protect you from forces within yourself. I think you need to know that. And you do still have problems to be resolved. So, work, achievement, success, creating this foundation, success with effort. So you have some work yet to do. And it appears the primary situation is with this fair woman. And it's definitely going to require some careful handling. All right, I'm off to the side again, aren't I? All right, I hope that's better. Let's see what Tarot has to say about why you are here. Why are you here? Oops, and my cards fell on the floor. Ace of Cups in the uncertainty position. I think it's causing a lot of uncertainty for you. So I look at this as my heart chakra card. Your heart chakra may be opening. This may be feeling strange to you. You may actually have physical chest sensations. Make sure, of course, that you check in with a healthcare provider so that there's nothing going on there that's going to cause real problems. Then we have Five of Pentacles, also in the uncertainty position. And the rest of them I'm going to shuffle back in because I can't tell what's what. So, Five of Pentacles is a lack mentality, a scarcity mindset, a belief that you can't have good things, perhaps, or that there's not enough things to go around, when in fact there is. We have an abundance in this world. We just aren't good at sharing it with each other. Probably because we're all so fearful, running around thinking that there's not enough. We have to grab our share before somebody else gets it. That's not true. Okay, then we have this reminiscing, revisiting the past. Nine of Pentacles. And Ten of Cups. So, Nine of Pentacles is working on yourself. A sort of lesser hermit. But also a time for harvesting the results of the inner work that you've been doing. You have to remember, though, that this is a process. Harvesting is not an immediate, easy thing to do. Harvesting takes a great deal of effort and time. And processing the harvest takes even more time. Now, we have this Ten of Cups. So what could have, or should have, or just would have been nice to be a happily ever after was not. So it shows foxes here because foxes are very monogamous, very dedicated family type creatures. But I'm getting the sense that somebody's heart was not really open to this. Maybe both of you, but that's very easily the case. People generally wander around with their hearts very well defended. We all fear vulnerability. We fear getting hurt. But that is what it takes on both sides in order for there to be a healthy reciprocal relationship. There has to be giving and receiving. And now the wind's picked up. All right. So, perhaps you let your fear, your scarcity mindset, close off your heart. So this Ten of Cups could not persist. But there's this reminiscing about it. Perhaps finally seeing the good and the bad, since you have it in the uncertainty position. Perhaps you're uncertain that you really understood what happened. But it did cause you to do a great deal of work on yourself that resulted in a harvest. Whether it's the kind of harvest you wanted or not is a different question. 10 of Wands. But this is upright, mostly. So carrying a lot of burdens that aren't actually yours. You need to let those go. And 10 of Swords. Oh. Wow. Okay, that's in the uncertainty position. So you're really hoping that maybe... Oh, you have 3 10s here. 1 upright, 1 uncertain, and 1 in reverse. Well, that's interesting. You do not have the 10 of Pentacles. The 10 of Pentacles is, well, the Pentacles suit is about manifesting, about things becoming reality, thoughts becoming things, emotions becoming things, material reality, coming into alignment with your internal reality, your spiritual life, your emotional life. All of that stuff would be a happily ever after, perhaps. But we have a 10 of Wands, a tendency to carry burdens that don't belong to you. Uncertainty, perhaps, about ending that kind of relationship with others. Changing the nature of your relationships, maybe, so that you do not take on others' burdens. Also, possibly, a hope that this 10 of Cups can be fixed. I don't know. So the 10 of Swords in reverse is definitely about fixing that situation that ended. But it was a very painful ending. That's something to keep in mind. And you need to keep in mind as well the 8 of Pentacles, which basically says that a lot of very tedious work must be done. You had effort is required, so perhaps you already know that. Wait a minute, here it is. Success with effort. And this one was work, achievement, success, but both of those are strongly suggesting a lot of effort, as does the 8 of Pentacles. Prolonged effort. This isn't showing up and apologizing. This is showing up day after day after day to show that you have changed, that things are different now, that you are not who you were, you have done the work, and this is doing the work to become a better person, perhaps. And that would lead to a 9 of Pentacles. You do the work, you become the better person, and you begin to reap the rewards of being that better person. It takes time to do that, and if you're trying to reconcile with someone, which this is really uncertain, that can require a great deal of work because you have history, and it's not good history. So this is looking like a desire for a reconciliation. That would be your main question. However, as the spider, your main issue has been presented as finding your life's purpose, finding your dharma. The other thing to remember is your dharma changes. Okay, at different stages of your life, your life path looks one way, and then things happen, you grow, you change, you evolve. For example, when you're a child, your life's purpose is to grow and to learn, right? And if you go on to college, you're a young adult, but still your life's purpose is learning for most people. or a lot of people. I shouldn't say most people, should I? Not with the way college is so expensive these days. But yeah, as long as you are being a student, your Dharma is learning. Now, I'm not saying you should always be a student, because the purpose of learning things is to put them into practice in some way, at some point. But let's see what the universe has to say about all of this, because there's definitely two things going on here. You have this for your significator and this for your thoughts, your main preoccupation. Well, we have a very success-oriented collective today, apparently, who unfortunately has bought into the whole alpha mindset mentality kind of thing. So, first of all, if you happen to be male and you have bought into the whole idea of males should be this, females should be that, you should know that it is not based in nature. It is not natural. It is not how wolves behave. It's not healthy. I do have anthropology training, and one of the things that the earliest human societies did was, instead of having a fixed leader, they had a person who led depending on what the activity was, what the group was trying to accomplish. So it was recognized that some people are better at this and some people are better at that. So when they were trying to do the thing that someone was very good at, they had that person in charge. And when they're trying to do something different, they had a different person who was very good at that different thing in charge. Okay? So there is no fixed head of the pack. That is completely false. Or a product of the patriarchy, however you want to look at it. And the patriarchy is a organization, a way of organizing human society that benefits adult males and disempowers and takes advantage of women and children. It also sets up some things as bad and labels them as feminine or childish. And this head of the pack mentality, which is also limiting, is labeled as masculine and good. But it is limiting to you, to all people in a patriarchy. All of that programming is limiting. So, it's important to recognize that that is not, first of all, founded in nature. It is not natural. It is not healthy for anybody. Now, we have child. For me, the child cards, whether male or female, represent a return to the self, a return to wholeness, because the child starts out whole. So remember, we were talking about patriarchy, which is a cultural, societal programming thing. And children have to be taught this. But if you return to childhood before you learned this stuff, then all of you is still there. It gives you a new perspective. It gives you innocence and creativity, spontaneity, and a tenderness and vulnerability. And then we have self-expression, which is very important. And we all lose it. We all lose some ability to be self-expressive when we take on the programming of our society, culture, family, whatever. So relearning that is a big deal. So we have relearning, returning to the self, relearning expression, self-expression, and now intuition, subconscious. Also, this is strongly reminding me of the Moon card in Tarot, of course, which would be getting into shadow. The parts of yourself that were lost and hidden. These aren't necessarily negative. They are just not in compliance with your programming. So remember when I said patriarchy labels some things feminine and therefore lesser or bad or negative, and labels other things masculine and therefore good, which in some circumstances they are, in some circumstances they're not. And the same for the so-called feminine traits. All of these are not masculine or feminine. They are human. And they should be balanced and communicated appropriately. So in a regulated, thoughtful, considerate, compassionate fashion. Okay, now we have Loons, deeply committed, uncommon bonds, family. Manifesting your deepest desire, all in for what you love, reawaken lost hopes, which I'm definitely getting from these cards. Your tarot cards have a lot to do with lost hope. Or should you give up hope? So for the Moon card, I saw PTSD briefly. Don't know why. Now we have the Crow. Yeah, memories. Things are resurfacing. Magical power, mystery, a new event are happening. And an ending. Once again, some sort of a bond here. Again, it could be family. It specifically mentions family, but it also says uncommon bonds, deeply committed. Manifesting your deepest desires. But something is ending, has ended. There is a mystery and a magic to it, though. Something has begun, too, I would guess. Why else would there be... Why else would an ending be described as magical? Challenging the status quo. So finally, perhaps, a recognition that this alpha bro attitude is not helpful. Yep. Breaking free. Wow. You did get the Eight of Swords in reverse, didn't you? I hope you did. It would make sense. Yeah, big changes happening in you. I don't know whether you've recognized them or not, but it would definitely impact your dharma, finding your new path, leaving all of this junk behind, and moving on to freedom, getting in touch with your inner self, your emotions, I think. We all do that. I mean, don't get me wrong here. I came from a very emotionally repressed family. So yeah, having the ability to feel and manage and what is the word? Well, it's escaped me for the moment. But, you know, having a healthy relationship with your emotions, your own emotions, being able to recognize them and manage them appropriately. Keep your wits about you. We also have some more magic things here. Lucid dreams, telepathy. Every time I see this, I think of the elephant card in the Animal Spirit Oracle. Or Animal Spirit. No, she doesn't call it an oracle, does she? Anyway, it's holding a flame. It also refers to telepathy. I'm not exactly sure why elephants are so strongly associated with telepathy. It's interesting. There's probably a good reason for it that I know nothing about, obviously. I'm just trying to find the card because I want to show you the similarities between the elephants. Here it is. I suppose we typically portray elephants that way. Maybe that's how elephants move through life, holding their trunks like that. You see the flame that this one is carrying? You also see that this one has a third eye that is definitely active. Interesting that it's red. That's not the color usually associated with the third eye. And then we have a broken tusk, where this elephant has 2 broken tusks. So these are creatures who are strong. They are good at removing obstacles, and they have been through a lot, continue to go through a lot. But they are powerful. And they have a lot more going on than simply their physical strength. It also says trust here, which is interesting. As a species, I don't think elephants are very trusting right now. Not when it comes to humans, and justifiably so. But perhaps you're learning to trust yourself. To trust a new way of being. I mean, we have this changing the status quo, challenging the status quo. You don't have to, that doesn't have to be a big dramatic thing. You're still in disguise. All right. When you go through an awakening, you go through a disguise phase because it's kind of fragile at first. You're kind of fragile at first. You will be challenged. Everyone gets challenged when they go through an awakening, and they have to decide, are they going to go back to the way things were, or are they going to keep going and allow change to happen? Having a stalemate, thinking that you can keep things the same forever, you can't. Maybe you feel like there's no way out for you right now, out of your present circumstances. But we do have the mortar and pestle, alchemy, breaking things down and making things into something else. There may be some real friction here inside you between this feeling stuck, this standoff, feeling like you need to hide the changes that have taken place within you, and this following your dharma. Well, the spider's all covered up now. Anyway, the point is, I think that there's a certain amount of friction that's going on. There's a certain amount of breaking down that's going on. It's a very uncomfortable phase. This stalemate has to be broken down. And it is most likely founded in something inside you. So there's a friction between the stalemate and the wanting to move forward. Maybe a desire for change, but also a fear of change. It's very common, especially if you can't see where you're supposed to be going next. You didn't get the cloudy vision card, but it's very likely that you don't know what your next step will be, especially if things haven't finished breaking down yet. So, you are in the midst of it. You are not at the end of it. And that can be a very uncomfortable phase. And I think we will pull the Shaman cards for you today. Ooh, wow, that was fast. Every other deck I've been shuffling and shuffling and shuffling, and that one just leaps right out. So we have, oh, there was one hiding under it. That doesn't count, it was hiding. We have flow, number 20. Lots of 2s today. Flow, the essence. There is a natural movement of events in the world. You can see it in phenomena such as the tide, the ebb and flow of oceans and rivers that rise up from the earth, then flow to the sea. The symbol of flow represents the effortlessness and natural movement toward a certain destination. It signifies an ability to gracefully move around obstacles and reminds you of the sense of allowing. When flow comes to visit, it is a sign that your intentions have been in motion. Now is the time to allow nature to run its course. You are being called to effortless movements and the path of least resistance. It's like being within music, flowing within partnership. Think of the artist who creates without guile or craft, calling creativity up from the soul and bringing it to life without effort. You are called to be like a river, knowing the fulfillment of destiny is assured. Enjoy the ride. The medicine. Don't try to push against the river or swim upstream right now. You can trust that when the time is right, your dreams will begin to take shape. I do think that's where you're at. And you will be invited to dance with destiny. Right now, however, you must relax. This is not the time to bang on doors that refuse to open. Whatever obstacle is in front of you right now, trust this is for the highest good. It is an opportunity to regroup and reconsider your choices. And you must trust that your intentions will take form in good time. Consider this time a gift. That's probably irritating. Yeah, I could definitely see where this time is not time for motion for you. I mean, maybe it could be that some of you are in the state where you're ready to move to flow around obstacles effortlessly. But I think most of you, the vast majority of them, are stuck in this stalemate. This sense of feeling stuck, standoff, no way out, blocked. Because it's not time yet. You did not get the divine timing card, or any divine timing card. But overall, it's definitely looking like you need to be in the flow, and sometimes being in the flow means not moving at all. People rarely talk about that. But when you look at a stream, there are places where the water moves very little, if at all, right? Some of those places can be really nice places to hang out. If you're going to the watering hole, the swimming hole, right? You go to a swimming hole, the still water sections can be really nice places to hang out. As long as there's no leeches. But, so, we talk about flow a lot, but we rarely talk about the fact that sometimes flow means just staying still. And that may be where you are right now. You have to stay still and let things break down. They're not done breaking down. They have not yet been transmuted. So, it is time to wait. No matter how difficult that is to hear. Especially if you have a lot of strong emotion driving you. But strong emotion in itself can be a sign that you absolutely should wait until you can moderate your emotions, regulate your emotions. right then. I am wishing you all the best. Things will become clear. The obstacles will be removed. But now it's just time to have faith and wait. Till next time.